La-di-da-da-da. Hello, everybody. How are you all? So, God bless America and the rest of the world. It seems that every single time I try to start this YouTube, this live streaming, there's this sort of perceptible delay, and there's me being silly, and you hear me going, "Ha, really?" I have to press the preview button 3 times to get this going. So, anyway, how are you all? Hope you're all doing marvelously well. It is 10:31, turning 10:32, so I suppose we're technically 1 to 2 minutes late. Sorry about that. I'm excited to be big, bad, and back. I don't know if I'm that big, but I could be bad at sometimes. Hey, quick shout out. Look, got a new chair. So I got the Phantom Focus chair. And this is from Carl Tatz. So you may or may not know. Sorry, my headphones are turned down. Let me turn them up so I can hear my... Hey, there it is. So it's weird wearing headphones and not hearing anything. You're like, why am I wearing headphones if I can't hear anything? Okay, so this is it. Yeah, Carl Tatz designed chair. It's really nice. It's called the Phantom Focus chair, and he sent it to us, and so we're trying it out. It's absolutely wonderful. Carl is a great guy. If you haven't watched his video already on basic room acoustics, speaker positioning, monitor positioning, and stuff, he's really, really smart and really good at it. And he's friends with Ed Cherney, and Ed Cherney had one of his chairs and loved it. So I was like, Ed's the man. If Ed says it's good, it must be good. And it's just that support for those of you that have been doing this for several years, like myself. You'll know that you spend far too much time sitting down. So shout out to Carl Tatz. Thank you ever so much. It's the Phantom Focus chair. Super comfortable. Super comfortable. So now we have 2 really good chairs, because we have that and we have a Herman Miller. So we have 2. As Sean is saying, please like and subscribe. If you're not already a subscriber, please do it. People are saying, sound up. Is it too quiet? 1, 2, 2. Yeah, the vocal mic looks super quiet. Dum-de-dum-dum-dum. What is the impedance of that chair? I think it's a low impedance chair, yes. You know, not a high impedance. It's a low impedance chair. 1, 2, 2, 2. I think we're at a similar-ish kind of volume. Maybe let's give it like another click. 1, 2, 2. Is that better? Is that okay? 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. I did get Lisa asked me, and I just noticed the comment about why I have the master bus down here. Now, one thing I think it's important to know is like, we have to adjust the master bus, the master level coming to you. That sounds like it's clipping to me. We have to adjust that specifically based on... Oh, I see what's going on. Specifically based on, not overdriving the YouTube algorithm. So you might find that this master here gets tucked down a little lower than it might be, in a mix. So I can't hit it quite as hard in a live stream because it might, mess up the algorithm. So that she said in a comment the other day that, the bus was down to about 11, minus 11. It was probably because it was super loud and it was just crunching, the YouTube algorithm. Because what happens is one of the guys, looks like it's Rob who's doing it. Or what? I think either of them are wearing headphones at the moment, but usually, hopefully, they're wearing headphones and they're listening to what it actually sounds like. As if it needs to come up and down in volume, they will tell me to bring it up or down. So anyway, quick explanation on that. Sorry, it's very boring. We can get on with doing some mixing. And do the arms lift up and away? Well, the thing is, it's super low. It's super low. The arms do come up or down. At the moment, they're down, so I can grab an acoustic and, it's... It's pretty nice. I mean, if I get back here, Definitely nothing in the way. I mean, I'd have to be down here for my arms to get pushed. So yeah, I think it's the way it comes set up is just absolutely perfect, because all of the focus here, if you can see it, is on the back, right at the low part of your back. So it makes it super, super comfortable. So thank you, Carl Tats. Great chair, great stuff. Let's do some work. Okie dokie. Enough waffling on from Warren. So where do we leave off? Let's have a listen. I haven't touched the song, listened to the song, or done anything since our last live stream. So goodness knows what it's going to sound like. Let's press the button. Great. We haven't done anything to the guitars or the bass or the lead vocal or anything, which is pretty remarkable because it's actually coming up pretty nicely. We can go back to the drums, which is really what we were working on before, which I like. I'm not getting quite the definition on the toms that I want because that's a really cool part. So let's have a quick listen. I mean, I love that drum tone. I mean, that's pretty natural. As you know, we didn't do much. Oh, and just so you know, and Matt can put the link up, the Abbey Road that we've been freaking out about, we absolutely love, which I just started using. And to be honest, it's all because of you out there. Every time we do this, somebody says, hey, check out the Abbey Road, check out the Abbey Road, check out the Abbey Road. And so eventually, last video, I did finally check out the Abbey Road plates and chambers. And now we noticed today they're on sale. So Matt, if you don't mind putting up the link here, that would be great. They're on sale. So that's remarkable. They're really expensive, but they're not expensive at the moment. They're a really good price. And let's be honest, they're amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I think what I wanted to do, like, we did some work on the snare. We did some work on the kick, but we didn't do anything on the toms. Let's just do a little bit on the toms before we move on to bass and stuff. Now, I think you remember me telling you, and if you don't, that's quite all right. the console hybrid had some issues with busing, so we couldn't like sum top and bottom mics. So that's the reason why there is like tom 1, tom 2, you know, top and bottom are like separated. Typically, I would take my top head mic and my bottom head mic, flip the phase / polarity of the bottom mic, reverse it, and then sum it in to that. So that's what I would do. So let's whoa, what happened there? All right, sorry, I was on the wrong thing. So let's create a stereo auxiliary. So 9 and 10 stereo auxiliary. So I'm just going to listen to these through that. So of course we'll call this tom bus. I want to listen to them individually. Here's the tom 2 top. Tom 1. See, this is out of order. You're out of order. Okay, so that small tom should be panned over here. We'll go like 35. So what I'm doing is, like, typically you wouldn't be doing this with any of my productions because they would already be summed together, but they're not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to the overheads. This is to get the stereo. Okay, here's the tom 2. Okay, so that's definitely the floor tom, so that was panned wrong. See, fixing mistakes. So I'm going to go about 60. I'm doing this, and you can do it whichever way you like, but I'm doing this from audience perspective. Cool. I'm putting them into a stereo bus because I want to EQ and compress them together. Although, so what and like I say, typically you wouldn't see me using separate top and bottom mics. I would have summed them together on the console, or it's some way, you know, some kind of summing in between. It was only because the console wasn't, for some reason, we couldn't get it to bus, so we printed them separately. So if you do get this, get these tracks to download. Remember, these tracks are available to all of the Academy members, and many of them are used there. I didn't gate them. What I did, and you can see that in a previous video, is I actually gained down between the hits before mixing. And there are videos showing that process. These tracks, by the way, were directly downloaded from the Academy. So these are exactly what you're going to get. So if you go back and watch these videos after downloading them in the Academy, you'll see, you'll see exactly the same thing here. There's nothing different about it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try a global thing. I'm just going to grab an EQ. Hey, Eric? Yeah. Rob, can you come here, please? Sorry. That's Blackbird. Can you just tell them that, yes, we are checking the booking? Okay. And then I'm on a live stream. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take out some low, some high passing. We talked a lot about that yesterday in the video, by the way. So I'm doing a little 80. That might get a little bit in the way of the bass guitar, so I'm always a little wary of that. This is the recording from the 2016 album. Hello, Dave Merkel. So let's just throw that back into the whole drum kit and have a listen. Infinitely better. Now, I know that was at 1 nanosecond. I'll let you listen to it for a little bit more. I don't add anything on my master bus. I've got, at the moment, I've got an L2, which is not active. If you look at it, it's set at 0. The only thing I've got is I've got the output set to 0.1. That's so there's no clipping. Having said that, nothing's being limited or anything. Okay. Thanks, Richard. I'm glad you enjoyed the album. It was a lot of fun to do. Great. So I really like that. See, the thing is, we did articulate those toms, and we spent time making sure that they were performed really well. So we can get a little. I don't know if I want to brighten them anymore at the moment. I'm going to drop them into the really generic mix that we've got at the moment and see how they fend for themselves. Yes, I am bussing them together. So, but typically, Andrew, the top and the bottom toms would already have been bussed together before being recorded. So, hello there in Worcester, Philip. So typically that's what we would do. But okay, once again, I know people are coming and going at different times, but the console wasn't capable of doing that. We couldn't bus things. So that's why, if you download this in the Academy as extra mics. Now, you could bus them together and print them together, but, it's fine to do this. So at the moment, I'm not going to do much else. I'm tempted to maybe turn them up a nats. So I'm going to give them a 1.8 dB on the bus. It's interesting, some of that lows on the kick isn't there as much. So I'm actually going to increase the thump here on the sheps. I'm going to increase it. So I'm going to actually go to here. It's got a +2. I'm going to make it a +4. Now have a listen. Yeah, John, those toms are definitely in time. I'm not sure what time you want them to be in, but they're definitely in time. Down, 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 down. Okay, so the thump I think is really helping. That's really nice. Yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, so that's cool. That's really making a big difference to me. I don't know if I want to put any ambience on the toms yet. I'm trying to do the less is more. As you can see, there's some mics with a ton of stuff done to it, and there's some with hardly anything. Like here's the room mic that we did a lot to. And then there's this mono mic that we used the MJUC on. See how much we distorted it? Great, Diego. Nice to see you here, my friend. Yeah, the thank you for the point out, yeah. Where's a pick when you need it? No, anyway, so boom, da da boom, ba ba boom, ba da boom, ba ba boom, ba da. Exactly, you spotted the Ringo reference there. Dum, da da dum, plum, 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 da da dum, plum, plum. Ticket to Ride. Ah, Dave Merkel, you are so generous. Thank you ever so much. So keys 2, there's a double of it because I used it to put a bunch of reverb on. So when you open this up in the Academy, you can turn the DIs, for instance. You could even mute them out if you were worried, but they're there, the DIs, in case you want to reamp stuff and you want to try and do your own stuff. I like to print DIs, and that gives you a chance. Thank you ever so much, Dave. You can buy us some lunch. That would be very generous of you. I love what that kick's doing. We kept a lot of the air on there. It's interesting. This morning inside of the Academy Facebook, or was it late last night? I was looking at inside the Academy Facebook page. Somebody had posted, I think it's Sweetwater's EQ chart. It's definitely got some interesting discussion points, some choices they've made. Which aren't typical, and most of them are typical, and it's pretty good. We have to create our own EQ chart for Academy members, but one of the things that they pointed out was like some of the low mids, and I get this, that you pull out are ugly in drums, but they're also this sound. So if you take out too much in the kick, the 350, 400, if you pull it out entirely, you'll lose the air. So you'll notice that what we did, and it's not the air like the typical, words are so horrible, aren't they? They really mess us up. When I say the air on a kick, I mean that kind of that low, thuddy, pillowy sound. People didn't like that. Didn't like that in the 80s. You remember how the kick drums were all like, they were all like click, 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 and and there was no mids and low mids on a kick drum. And that was fine. Everything was tick, 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 tick. Even modern metal tends to sound a little bit like that. However, not all modern metal, don't get me wrong. However, on the Bonham kick, you heard that sound, that air, that pillow. That blah, 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 blah. I love that. And that's the outside head. The outside, usually, not always, but sometimes without a head, with a hole in it, and it just gives that blah, blah. Yeah, Jean-Francois is calling it soft decay. I like that. That's a nice way of calling it. It just, when you hear that, it sounds like the 70s. You know, and Scott's saying the 60s, I would go with that as well. It just sounds like that, you know, it makes me feel, yeah, exactly, when Mike says, the reason why I say air, because air, as you probably know, gets mainly used by people when they're describing like super, super high frequencies. They're talking about like, you know, kind of 10, 12, 30, well, literally 20, 32K, and you get that, you know what I mean? Hey, Glenn's here. Hey, Glenn. Like, I think Glenn would like that air on the kick. It sounds very natural. Hey, Glenn, Priest are going to be here in a couple of months. We're going to go and see them. So if you're back in LA, you should come to the show, because it would be pretty amazing. I like Mauricio calls it the beautiful ugliness from the 70s. Yes, I love it. Lisa's asking, does it have anything to do with the density between tape versus digital? I mean, I think that, you know, yesterday we've done a little mini series of videos that's going to come out. There's a lot of questions here I want to answer. A little mini series that's coming out, and one of the things is we're talking to the people that actually recorded classic songs, because I know there's a lot of opinion on how songs were recorded, and we've all done that. Okay, great, yeah. So it's the show at the old Kodak Theatre, Glenn. So make sure you're back for that. I think it's in June. Anyway, so we'll all go. Greg D'Angelo is going to go as well. You know, the drummer from Anthrax and White Lion, who's a great guy. So it will be like a great time. Anyway, so yeah, the air on the kick is going to be is like phenomenal. It sounds, but the reality is like when you on a kick drum, that's what gives you the sort of air frequency. It's what I love about it. Now, but the confusion lies, and that people are asking about, is air you would typically associate with the air band on a Moog EQ, which is amazing. But the reason why they call that the air band is it's super high. You can't hear it, but by boosting it, it brings this beautiful soft curve that makes the high end sound really smooth without super harsh. So that's really good. Now, to Lisa's point, and talking about the series of videos we're about to release, is we're talking to engineers that recorded great songs, and most of them were recorded on tape. Even the songs in the 90s that we love were recorded on tape. So I think that so to Lisa's point, yes, even though when talking to these engineers, they weren't using a lot of EQ or compression going to tape, they were hitting the tape hard enough, and this also points to another part of the conversation where people are asking about, you know, Warren, you seem to be printing a lot hotter, and all of the older guys, you know, Cameron Webb, older, like 40s. But it's guys in their 40s started on tape and transferred over to digital. People that are born in digital can print signals sometimes I don't even see. They send me things to mix, and I'm like, there's 20 blank takes. And then I make the waveforms get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then eventually I see something there. The reality is if you're printing digital, it doesn't matter because you've got no signal to noise to worry about. But when you're printing through analog equipment, and more importantly, hey, Ontario Institute of Audio Recording and Technology, are we supposed to be doing something together? I can't remember. But anyway, so when it comes to doing that, with tape, there was something inherent. We were trying to get a better signal-to-noise ratio. We hit the tape harder. We also got some lovely compression off the tape, hence why I still have an A80. But this song's mixed entirely in the box, so it's almost kind of like a, you know, it's kind of a bit 6 of one, half a dozen the other. That's where I think, personally, I'm digging and liking what Andrew's doing here with the Omni channel. I'm keeping this to a minimum on the EQ. There are some stuff that I smashed. You know, there's some things here that I've done some heavy compression and EQ on. And then there's other things that I'm using really super lightly. It's kind of a combo platter. It's like, where do I find that happy balance? But to me, it's knowing what you love, and then it's knowing what you love, and then reproducing it. Okay, Lisa, you're saying in the sound of the 80s kicks. Just so everybody knows, there's a delay. I don't know how long is it, like 30 seconds? 10 seconds? 15 or so there's a 15 or 20 second delay from me talking and then me reading your comments. So I can't see, if you ask a question in real time with me, it's already gone. So do me a favor, if somebody asks a question, put the thing in the question. Be like, like for instance, with the, like on the 80s kick, because if I'm talking about something else, I won't realize it. Sorry, it's not your fault. It's not my fault. It's the YouTube delay. They probably do that just in case there's a profanity or whatever. Okay. The one thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to take all of our auxiliaries that we've done and the drums as a whole and send them to a stereo bus. So there's all the kicks. Sorry, it cuts out as it changes. There's all the kicks. And everything, as you can see, I'm busing to 11 and 12. And then let's take the toms. Busing, summing, whatever you want to call it. Okay, now let's take all our rooms and our overheads, and are printed. As you know, I printed effects at the studio live because I wanted to get them. So let's take those and make them go to 11 and 12. Okay, so now I'm just going to create a group, and it's going to come in pretty hot. So this is a drums all group. I don't think so, Lisa. See, a lot of the conversation about drums and stuff is, we had somebody talking about the Publison when I put up something saying that they were surprised that I didn't know about the Publison. And then I did a little research and asked a bunch of studios, and they had them for a period of time, like 3 or 4 years in the early 80s, but most of them didn't survive past that. And Sunset Sound, who had one just at Sound Factory, told me that it didn't get as used as much as the H3000. And it was difficult to keep them running. A lot of these kind of very expensive, incredible machines, don't get me wrong, were a pain in the butt to get fixed. So you had to send them back to their country of origin, which in the Publison's case was in France, and then guys were waiting a year to get them back. So if you've got a commercial studio, it's very difficult to wait a year for a piece of equipment to get repaired. So unfortunately, that was just a reality. But the reason why I bring it up is so much of those drum sounds was so heavily processed in the 80s. They were using drum samplers, they were using AMS triggers, as much, if not even more, than the sounds that we take today. So yes, I'm talking about the sampler on it, Scott. So the Publison was like sampling kicks and stuff like that. So yes, tape was used, but I have access to some of those recordings. And you pull up the drum sound, and it sounds like a normal drum sound you would record today. But the sound that you hear on the mix was massive amounts of triggered sounds through AMS, through the Publison, but more importantly, and by the end of the 80s, the 4-at machine. The 4-at machine was like so much of those drum sounds, insanely processed. So yes, tape plays a part. And you can definitely, in the digital world, reproduce that. There's a lot of great plugins that reproduce the sound of tape. I do believe that if you want to record going in with the right amount of compression and EQ, you'll get close to it as well. And then you can use, like, the Sheps plugin. So what I'm going to do is we're listening once more. I think what I want to do is get something. Let's go to Andrew's plugin, which I'm not sure why, but has disappeared from where I used to have it set up. Okay, we'll go to Andrew's plugin here. I'm not going to add any more low lows with the thump. I'm going to leave. I'm just enabling 20K on the high pass. I just clicked it, so it's now enabled. Let's see if it needs any compression. But what I am going to do here is, what I like about Andrew's plugin is he puts in all the frequencies you want to use. Like, it defaults to 351. So let's pull out a little bit out of the drums. I'm letting the build up on the kicks be a little more than normal. See, normally I take out some of the 100 in there. I might go back and do that, but at the moment I'm leaving it as it is. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert. I love the insert feature here. I'm going to insert. So I'm trying to keep this as natural as possible, as you can tell. I am going to put an L2 on it. It's already smashed and heavy and hard, but this is the brand new Pro Tools. We're not running. It's just really super natural and disgusting. And by me doing that, the first thing you can hear is, with it being, is the bottom snare is coming up. Wow, I mean, the difference is huge. The bottom snare is coming up, so I'm splitting the difference. Okay. Okay, so I think that sounds good, but I am going to do, so what I'm doing now is I'm taking the drums all, and I'm doing a Shift Option D for those of you in Pro Tools that are also working on, you know, oh, if something's disgusting sometimes I like it. Like, yeah, that's it's like angry and disgusting. So if I said that, that's what I mean. Okay, so now I duplicated that, and I'm going to like crush it. When I'm working in parallel, I like to use the same amount of plugins and abuse them in a different way, because then I feel like I'm not adding EQ issues. Like, I think we talked about this before with the New York parallel technique. As you know, some of the guys that are good friends of mine that also, frankly, are the guys I consider to be my biggest mentors, you know, are New York guys, like obviously Shelley Yakus and, of course, the rather amazing Jack Douglas. And both of those guys didn't EQ on a parallel, and they're responsible for like 50% of the 70s records that came from New York. They either assisted engineers or produced them. So I think you have to be very careful applying EQ on parallel. It will sound weird if you've got multiple sets of EQ in parallel doing different things. You will get some weird phase polarity issues. So I tend to like do things globally and then use the same plugin. So here I'm like destroying it. I've taken the attack and gone full right, the release full left, so the fastest and slowest release. Slowest attack, fastest release. That's what I meant to say. I'll say that again in English. What's my craziest, best drum mixer recording you've ever done? Well, the best recording I ever did was at Conway, and it was for Ananalic, and I don't know if it ever came. Well, I think it did come out, but it came out on an EP, and it was Blair Sinter with Zach Ray on keyboards, and I believe it was John Button. Sorry, was it Dan Rothschild on bass, and it was a phenomenal recording. In Conway. The Neve Mike Preser in the wall, and that was the best drums I ever recorded. It was like so in phase. It sounded insane. The polarity was perfect. The drums were like in your face. Absolutely amazing. The best drum mix I've ever done, I don't know, because I like to have fun with drums and do a different thing every single time. I don't have a one-size-fits-all. As you can see, this isn't how I mix drums on any of the other songs we mix. I'm just showing you this is a way that you can mix drums, not the way to mix drums. All right, so it sounds better on FET. Let's go to Opto here. No, Conway's a Neve. It's a Neve from Montserrat, from Air Studios in Montserrat, and all of the mic pre's are in the wall and remotely controlled. They're 1081s and they're remotely controlled from the console. It is insane how good that room sounds. So the question is, do we pull out that excessive, like 80 to 100 that's going insane? Let's see. So it's nice. So this de-esser function, I put it to about 80, 78, and then I'm using it as a multiband on that area. Wow, this is good. Look at that. Look how good it is. I love that. So now it's not adding super tons of low lows. Let's put the two together. Let's bring it down. Blend it in. Ooh, I like that. That's nice. I mean, it's still huge. There's still tons and tons of low end and things are like red lights are coming on and people are freaking out on the other end of the internet going, no, he's clipping. I don't hear it clipping, but I see it clipping. Ah. It sounds fantastic. Well, I've not used that function quite so aggressively, and I didn't realize it was that good. Bravo, Andrew. I know Andrew spent 1.5 years designing this with Waves, and I've spoken to both Waves. Yeah, Glenn, how good is that? How effective was that just to remove the low end like that and so well and then dial it back in? Really, really, really. Drums are huge now. I'm going to text Andrew. That's a badass. That was really good. Okay. Now, the reason why we did that is because now we're going to go to the bass. And we haven't done a giveaway yet. Wow, we've been going 45 minutes. I'm sorry. And Eric, could I get PG tips, please? I know, isn't it great, Glenn? It's really cool. And that's on the parallels, so we're able to like bring the aggression in like the excitement, which of course is the high mids and everything, make it super excited without destroying the low end like that. And because it's multiband compressing it, it's not adding phase issues because we're not boosting EQ down there. Frickin' awesome, dawsome. Here we go. Interview with Andrew and also talking about a plugin comes out early April. Great. Really good. Okay. Now, there's a duplicate of the bass cab there, which has snuck its way in there. Why is that? Well, because the duplicate of the bass cab should be doing this. I'm going to go to the old favorite. We could do Decapitator, but let's be honest, I love Sans Amp. I really do. So I'm going to just schnash and schnizzle out of this. All right, see you later, Glenn. All right, so let's have some fun with this. I'm going to bust these together or auxiliary or sum them or sub them or... It's all the same thing. I used to get so many emails when we first started the channel like, why are you calling it bust? Didn't you mean sub or is it auxiliary? And I'd be like, I don't know. What do you want to call it? Okay, so bus, sub... All right, so you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the I'm going to low pass to maybe about 250 and just use the DI for the low end. Yeah, the overdrive on Android's plugin's great, but I don't. For the bass, I want to do something a little bit uglier. Okay, so now we've just got like 250 and above. Now we can just grab on the bass cab, the clean one. We'll do the opposite. But what we'll do, and this will be a good example of understanding how high and low pass works. Here's the two elements together. And while it's rolling, I'm going to go 250 here. And I'm going to enable. We're going to enable this. So, what we'll do actually is we'll do this. So I want you to hear something. So this is off, so it's bypassed. Have a listen. Okay. I'm going to do this a few times just so everybody can understand how this works. When you get multiple signals, especially from the same source, you'll never get the phase exactly right. Now, what we can do, I'm going to do this really slowly because this is super important. Now, what we can do is we can go, okay, let's try and find an area. Like this is sort of in phase, sort of not. Like I think what we can do is like, there's a couple of different ways we could do this. We could take this and delay the DI and then flip the polarity. We could do that. So bearing in mind that not everybody has this ability, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to samples and it is 145 samples. So now I'm going to take the DI and I'm going to get a delay. Hopefully this makes sense to everybody and we will go to the competition in a second. Excuse me. So I'm now going to take that and make it 145 samples back. Not only am I going to make it 145 samples back, I'm going to flip the polarity. So with no EQ, here is delayed and with a polarity slipped. Oh, and Sean is saying, yes, please like and share. That would be lovely. Now you saw me change the... So now it's delayed and polarity, but it's off. Listen to the light. Listen to the bass line. So definitely more low end. You hear more low end once that is delayed slightly and then actually flipped. And it's closer. Right. Thank you, Robert. I really appreciate it. But you will notice something that's really, really... Simon, yes, I don't like messing with like taking it and time stretching it to try and make it match. There are some good plugins. But regardless, the reason why we take the DI and use it for the low end is because it's cleaner. So if you listen to this again... you can hear a difference. Now, let me now enable this plugin. So now I'm just wiping off the top end of the DI, and we're going to listen to that on its own. It's not changing the low end at all because the low end remains constant. But now, listen to the bass cab with the low end removed from it, coming in and out. Listen. Yeah, so I prefer the sound of this. The best sound of all of those options is actually not using a time adjuster. The time adjuster on its own can be pretty good. Like this, it's not bad. Crank the DI. No. That's nice. But take the time adjuster off and put the REQs on so it's wiping out the low end of the cab, and this is the other option. That's my favorite of all the options. So what's happening is I'm taking the low end away from the cab because there's no perfect way to get these to line up. I could flip the polarity on the waveform itself, then time it back, and you'll still have a lot of issues. You'll still hear, most importantly, and see, but hear that it's never quite perfect. But if I wipe the low end out of the bass cab and only use it for articulation, it's the best sound. So what does that prove? It goes back to the idea that high passing actually gives you more low end. I've got more low end with that high passing than I have without it. Here is everything flat. Here it is with high and low passing. So when people say to you, don't high pass, you're getting rid of the low end of your mix, just tell them they are completely and utterly wrong. We're getting more low end by high passing because we're getting, you guessed it, less phase polarity cancellation. That is what's really good. Also, when people say to you, don't EQ individual elements of a mix going together, summing together, tell them they are also wrong because that's what we're doing here. It's really important not to look at things, but to listen to them. Okay, so now I'm going to incorporate the bass cab that I distorted. Okay, so today, thank you, Matt, for reminding me, we're doing a flash sale on all of Phil Allen's courses. It's a producing and mix bundle. Phil Allen is my old, started off as intern, then assistant engineer, and then co-producer. And as I'm sure you all know, he won a Grammy for recording Someone Like You by Adele, which I believe is the biggest selling song of the last blah, 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 years. And he's a wonderful guy. He's also my daughter's godfather and a great, great guy. And his course is phenomenal. I like that. That sounds ugly in a good way. Let's drop it in against the drums. I'm high passing around about 250, 300. As Ken is saying, that buzz on the bass, you know, that buzz on the bass is just helping the bass cut through a bit. And remember, this is ugly. It's supposed to be like, blah, 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 blah. It's not supposed to be boom, da, da, la, la, la. We can have the bounce and the groove by all the instruments, but I want this to be like, you know what I mean? I want this to have a little bit of messiness. Thank you, Bewley Brothers. Bewley Brothers has bought the bundle. Thank you very much. We're going to do a giveaway now of the bundle. So stay tuned. If you win the bundle and you've already bought it, of course, we'll give you something else. And if you're an Academy member and you stick around at the end, we'll also give you a free year's membership. So everybody stick here for another half an hour. We've got 3 giveaways to do in 34 minutes because I've been waffling on so much. So my question is, oh, wow, there's 376 people watching. Thank you ever so much. Please hit that like button. It really means a lot to us if you let YouTube know that you're watching. Because they go, oh, people like this, because they hit like. So we're going to give away that full Phil Allen bundle, which is amazing. It's a full production course. We filmed over 3 days and a mix bundle and all of the other stuff. So if you don't win it, please buy it. It's amazing, and it's 51% off today. Okay, what do I want to know? I want to know, do you record live drums? Simple as that. And if you do record live drums, just, you know what? Yes or no answer. Yes, I record live drums, or no. If you don't record live drums, what do you use? Do you use Slate? Do you use Addictive? Do you use Easy Drummer? What do you use? Do you record live drums? Okay, so I'm gonna now I bust this together. I'm gonna do a little more exaggerated EQ for the accumulated sounds. We'll go to a 4-band. And I'm going to go and high pass around about 60 gently. So it's going to be in there. So that's the gentlest slope I can on REQ. But then I'm going to go to like 80 and give it a little bump. What does that do? Well, it sharpens the point there, you see? I'm also going to go to like 3K and just go whack. I love what that parallel's doing to the snare there. How good is that? Listen. I mean, the low end on this song is huge. We might have to, near the end, like carve out some of this, but I'm loving it. It's like a big beat. Just, I mean, it's massive. It might be too much, but heck, schnizzle. It is what it is. Now, there's a double up of this guitar, and that was done because we were doing effects on the double. So we could create a reverb, or we could just use the original track. I'm actually going to, so it's really up to you. You can download the tracks and do what you want with them. If you're an Academy member, and if you stick around, you can win it. So I'm actually going to mute it for the time being, and I'm going to leave it. Congratulations, Tim MH. Oh, it's nice to see you win. I know you're always on our you're always on our streams, giving great comments and helping people out. That's remarkable. Thank you ever so much. We're going to do 2 more giveaways. 2 more giveaways. I've been waffling on mixing that I haven't got to. At the moment, I'm not doing any EQ or compression to the guitars. We're just going to get through. Now I'm going to add the keys back in. The hi-hat's good, but it's a little loud. So, again, for those of you that were following earlier, the console we were recording on didn't allow us to bus for some reason. So the hi-hat unfortunately does unfortunately have that issue. So I'm just going to come out of group here and bring the hat down overall. I like the hat, but I kind of want to trash it out. And this is what happens. You make decisions based on like how you're hearing things at the time. So I'm going to have a little bit of fun with it. It's a little too jazz funk for me, a little too 1980s jazz funk ponytail music. And I love jazz funk, don't get me wrong. I like all music, but it sounds a little I sort of get like I don't want that. It's a rock band. So what I'm going to do is like, let's just solo the 2 together for a second. I know he's going to solo it. I can't believe it. Okay. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go mono with it. So I'm actually just going to solo them like this. So I'm going to come in solo. Solo. I'm famous for my solo. So call it hat, sub, bus, aux, just so you know you can use any of those particular terms. Hat sub bus aux, and we'll just highlight where it's playing there.
She does me, sweet little angel.
That's interesting. Martin, nice. That's interesting. It's actually the room that I'm not digging. See this room here? It's nice. So let's try something. Let's go. I'm going to go and grab just the most generic lo-fi plugin here. So here it is. Oh, we're going to do another giveaway in 5 minutes. So stick around. If you just turn the saturation up, it immediately darkens it. I feel like I want to do this with room 2. I've got a de-esser on that, which is doing a little bit of that, but let's grab the lo-fi for the room and just see if we can make it just a little less jazz funky. And don't get me wrong, I like my jazz funk, but it's a little too... That immediately did it for me. So I did 1.2 saturation, and I just took a little shade of that sort of high-pitched kind of cleanness out of it. Now let's put all the drums together. Sometimes that's what you just have to do. You have to listen and not talk for a few minutes. So hence the 5 minutes of me just doing that. I like where we're at now. I can still hear the hi-hat kind of, but I love it. You know, I like that way It's just kind of like it's a little splatty from the parallel compression, but it makes it sound interesting.
She's sweet and she's kind, she puts food on my plate. I know that she loves me the way that she does me.
All right, cool. So let's do another giveaway. We're going to do 2 more. So this is the second giveaway we're going to do, and this is for the Phil Allen Mix Bundle, which I know Matt is about to put back up again. For those of you who haven't already got it, we're doing 51% off here, and it's freaking awesome. As I'm sure you all know, he is a rather wonderful guy and very, very talented. He recorded Adele's "Someone Like You," won a Grammy for it. God bless him. What do you want to know? All right. Do you record live bass? We've done live drums. Do you record live bass? And if you do record live bass, what is it? What bass do you have? I'd love to know what you have. It's really fantastic to know, what it is that you have. So, do you record live bass? And if so, what is it? Thank you for those that have bought the course. I see a couple people have bought it. That's absolutely wonderful. And there it is. There's the full course. So you're going to win this course. These courses, it's a bundle of several courses, one of which is a full production course. And Third Power says, please like and Sonny and share. Share it away. Alrighty. Do you record live bass? And if so, what bass is it? What bass do you have that you record? I would love to know. Stephen says a Hofner. Drinking my PG. And I do want to have some Scottish tea. So, Michael, if you're still watching, love to know. Oh, PV bass. I have a PV bass. I have a Hofner too. Adam says no, he needs a bass player. If there's any bass players here and they want to send bass playing parts to Adam, let's get this together. Community. A $300 Ibanez sound gear. I had one of those, Keith. It was fantastic. I've had every single instrument you can ever imagine. Cheap, inexpensive, expensive, mediumly expensive, you name it. And the ones that win are just the ones that win. There's no rhyme or reason. Here's, as you know, the Harmony Stella, rebuilt by Scott Baxender. But you also know I use an LL16 Yamaha. I use them all. Yep, love them all. And then as far as basses, Hofner, PVT 40, and I've got the cheap Hofner. My friend Lauren, L. Scott, he found there was a deal going on. I think it was on Reverb, but no, Sweetwater. So it's one of the cheap ones, but they were doing it super, super cheap. So I bought that, the courtesy of Lauren. And then, of course, the PVT 40, and we have a Mexican jazz bass. And we have an Ibanez. A lot of people ask about it. You can't see it here, but it's the full bass. Would you mind grabbing that, please? And we have the full bass, which has been painted like the Eric Clapton full guitar. That's FOOL. And of course, we have the Yamaha at the back, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's been one of the main basses I've been recording with recently. It's a $699 or $600 bass. But this is the bass that I keep asking about because it's been in some Instagram posts. If you don't follow us on Instagram, please do. But yes, it's painted exceptionally well to look like the Yamaha, the Gibson SG. It's identically painted, but it is an Ibanez bolt-on neck bass. It's absolutely phenomenal. And then, as we were just talking about, we have this, which is the BB series, which has been actually the main bass we've been tracking with recently. And I believe it's about $600. And I don't actually use the active. I've been using it in passive. It sounds so good. It plays so well. It's absolutely phenomenal. So the main one. Okay, Jack Petrie. Congratulations, BC Rich. Oh, very nice. I presume you're a rocker, my friend. Okay, hang out for another 15 minutes, and we're going to do another giveaway in 15 minutes' time, not only of the full Phil Allen bundle, which, of course, you can also buy at a massively reduced cost, but also a free membership to the Academy, a 1-year membership to the Academy, which is very, very exciting. It is insane how beautiful it's growing with such wonderful people that help each other out. It's really, really great. Our artist is asking us if we'd like coffee, and I said yes. I'm really happy where this is at. We haven't done any work, though, yet to the vocal. So, yes, and as Sean is saying, please like and share. That means a lot. It does mean a lot. And I know somebody said to me, we all know how YouTube works. You know, you can hit the like. It's like, yeah, but it's still nice when people do it. And I don't mind. I'm not begging for likes. It's nice when people hit the like button. It's lovely. You know what I mean? I really appreciate it. There's so many good people out here that really care about helping each other and building a community. It's wonderful. And that's what's been really great about having the Academy, is that it's all full of people like that. We get the occasional person that wants to tell people that they're doing it wrong, but do you know how often that is? It's probably about 1 out of every 2,000. So it's pretty wonderful. NAM giveaway. Ron, you're welcome to come and join us, my friend. We'd love to see you there. We did sell out the NAM Masterclass on the first day. All 15 places. If there's anybody who's an Academy member that really, really has a burning desire to go, just email us and we'll make it happen. But it did sell out immediately. Our masterclasses always do, which is pretty phenomenal. It's absolutely wonderful. Okay. Down. I am listening from the top to see what we need. Thank you, Anita. Yes, it does rock. It rocks because of you and Martin and Sheila and Lisa and everybody else I can see here that's an Academy member. You make it rock. Adam is searching for a bass player, Jacob. Adam is. You know, that's a thing that in the Academy is there's a lot of musicians that play on each other's stuff.
And she hugged me. take my money. Don't take my money.
Yeah, baby. I absolutely love it. I mean, we haven't done anything to the vocals. The guitars are how they're printed. We just spent a lot of time on the drums and the bass. The keys are pretty solid. Okay, there's still stuff to do. Thank you, Jeremy. I think it's one of the best songs we need to do. But I think the important thing that's being said here that I absolutely love is we talked about this in yesterday's video. And please, 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 if you haven't, was the song released? Yes, it came out 2 years ago. If you haven't already, go back to yesterday's video. I made 5 points, and I know that they're 5 points that you've often heard me make, but the last one, I'm glad you enjoyed the bubbles. The last one is the biggest one, is you have to listen to the song as a whole. And I don't mean that from a sort of like expert opinion of, don't ever listen in solo. Because we all know that's baloney. Every major mixer listens in solo, because they're trying to they hear a problem and then they try to go in there and like define it and figure what it is. If a guitar's too bright, they may try and like bring it down a little bit. But if there's a frequency that's bugging them and they can't hear it inside of the whole track, of course they'll go into solo. Of course they'll solo and find that frequency and take it out. It's logical. But the reason why I bring up the whole song is when we listen to the whole song without any kind of EQ and compression, and we did, if you go back to the first video, listen to it a few times, we noticed that the drums just needed more. They just needed more like, and that's what we've done. The bass was cool, but a little boring. Now, the guitars were already interesting. What happens a lot with great guitar players, and the guitar player in this band, the original guitar player, Chris, is a phenomenal guitar player. He's a left-handed guy, and he was recording through my Carl Martin Roadie amp. And he's really, really good. Really great guitar player. But being a great guitar player, he has a guitar that he likes. He has pickups that he likes in his guitar. He has strings that he likes. He has guitar pedals that he likes. And he has an amp that he likes. You get where I'm going. He creates a guitar sound that sounds good. It's not a situation where somebody's giving you, their drum kit, which may or may not have brand new heads on it, in a room that may or may not sound good, and they may or may not be performing well. Drums can be, depending on the drummer and the room, etc., can be the easiest thing and the hardest thing to record. It really does. Those are one of the situations. So with the guitarist, quite often, if you capture it accurately, you shouldn't have to do as much as you would with a multiple mic'd drum kit. So we listened to it as a whole, and then we made a decision that we needed to make the drums sound dramatically more exciting. And we did that. And then after that, we made the bass sound more exciting. Now, the guitars don't seem that far out. Now, in our next video, we are going to do guitars and we are going to do vocals, and we're going to take this song over the edge. But at the moment, it's like 90% there. Let's go to that second verse, second chorus. You'll hear what I mean.
She's sweet and she's kind. She puts food on my plate. I know that she loves me the way that she does me. Sweet little angel, she kisses and she hugs me. She kisses and she hugs me. She gives me good loving, good loving. She gives me good loving, good loving. She gives me good.
I love it. It's big, it's bombastic, it's kind of wrong. The drums are like just on the verge of like absolutely falling out the speakers. There's so much weird distortion and saturation going on with them. And the low end is far too big on the kit. Love it. It's absolutely fantastic. There's too much low end on that kick drum. It's great. It's just a big blobbing lump of excitement and rock and roll. If you ever listen to the first Wolf Mother album, not the second one. The second one's a masterpiece, don't get me wrong, but the first one is a little like this, a little wrong, not quite perfect, and it sounds exciting. I think that is something in mixing that we have to remember. It's not always about the perfect mix. There's been a lot of debate because we're doing this mixing, remixing, production competition at the moment, and there's lots of mixing competitions out there. There's a lot of debate with people telling each other that this mix is good or bad. And you can argue about technical issues all day till the cows come home. You can sit there and go, well, my low end's better, or my high end's better, or my mid-range, my compression's better. You can do this, and it's okay. You can talk about technical, but people, real people, who aren't engineers, which is like 99.999% of the world, don't listen to music like that. They listen to it from a place of excitement. And if a track sounds exciting and jumps out of the speakers to you, sometimes, not all of the time, sometimes it's technically well mixed. Other times, it's just exciting. And I think we talk about this a lot. The Iggy Pop Raw Power first track where the lead guitar solo comes in 6 dB louder than anything else in the song makes you throw off your headphones if it's turned up super loud. But what is more exciting than a punk rock song than having a guitar solo? It's far more exciting than la da dee dee doo da doo da da, perfectly mixed, really nice. It loses what music is about. So you have to balance it out. We need to understand the technical, of course we do, but you also have to understand this is also an art. This is art, and music is art, and it's expression, and it's passion, and it's communicating with people. And if it was only, I love classical music. I grew up on classical music and jazz, and if it was only about that, then we should only listen to Beethoven. You know what I mean? Then Beethoven's all you need. And maybe it is all you need. You know what I mean? Listen to Beethoven brings me to tears every time. Half of my Spotify playlist is classical music. But it's not all about that. I love Beethoven. I don't know if there's anything better. Brahms, Beethoven, Bach, Elgar, Mozart, Shostakovich, Khatchurian. I could go on all day of music that I absolutely love. I'm sure you all could as well. But a little bit of Iggy and the Stooges just gets me. A little bit of the Beatles, a little bit of Queen, a bit of some punk rock from the 70s, some really, really good over-the-top EDM that's squashed too hard and pumping is exciting. This is what music is about. It isn't all about the technical being exactly perfect. And I think that's the thing that we have to remember. You need to bring in that excitement into music. We have 4 minutes left. This is the last giveaway. So this giveaway is going to be for not only the Phil Allen course, which Matt is going to put up for you now, not only the Phil Allen course, which today the bundle is 51% off, it's also for a year's membership to the Academy. So, are you also... if you're also a member of the Academy already, we'll give you something else. There's tons of other courses we can give you, or we can just give you an extra year if you've already joined for a year. Okay, my question is, it's obvious, because we did drums, we did bass, let's do guitars. Do you play guitar? Do you record guitars? If so, what do you record? What is the guitar that you record? And if you don't, and you're not recording guitar and you don't play guitar, just let us know. There's the course, and if you haven't got it, this is a bundle of all of Phil's courses together. It's absolutely wonderful. So thank you ever so much for everybody that's tuned in. You all absolutely rock. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already bought Phil's course, we're doing 51% off all of his courses today. Okay, so my question is, everybody, do you play guitar? If you don't play guitar, do you record electric guitar? Let us know. Telecaster, Schecter, yes, PRS, beautiful. Christian doesn't play guitar, but Emily plays and records guitars. Emily's going to be at our Nashville Masterclass. Lots of people here are going to be in Nashville Masterclass, and she will be involved in recording guitars there. Very exciting. We just figured out who the artist is going to be. and just formulating all of that. So we're going to have a girl singer this time. Last time we had a guy singer in Steve. Now we have a girl singer, Jacqueline, who's absolutely phenomenal, who was actually going to be my first choice last time, but she wasn't unfortunately available, but she's available this time. So we're going to have a girl singer. We're going to have a bunch of incredible session players from Nashville. And we're going to do one, possibly two songs, depending, because we do 3 days. We do recording, we do basic rough mixes, but we also bring in mentors. Last year, we brought in like four incredible, famous producers and engineers and mixers to come in and talk with the course as well. We'll do the same 2, 3, 4. It's going to be amazing. Yes, excited to see our Academy members. Emily, it's going to be wonderful. And we do only offer the masterclasses to Academy members. We don't do a public Facebook campaign to sell them. We just put them up. We email our Academy membership and sell them that way. It's the reason why we do that is we get to know people. People join the Academy. They become part of our community. They interact with each other. They help each other. And then we offer up these special deals and these special stuff to them, because people come to my studio to do mixing classes. And we need to know each other. We need to get to know each other. We need to share information. We need to know that they're good people. They're not spending their whole life complaining, telling each other off, being superior. That's not the place. That's not Produce Like a Pro. That's not what we do here. So that's why we do it for Academy members. So record guitars, getting a new old 335 on Friday. Wow, Haley, that's amazing. Congratulations. Dave Merkel, David Day says Epiphone, Les Paul and Fender Telecaster. Jeff Beck Strat. Wow, Vinny, that's beautiful. I love those guitars. And Spa Biate 1. And they recorded guitar. Phil Allen's production course. So if you haven't already got the production course, you can get it now at 51% off. Matt will put that again. I want to come back to Greece. I was hoping to come this year. I don't know if I am. It will probably be next year. This spring break we're going to Hawaii, but next spring break I think we're going to be going to Greece again. There are definitely no experts in the Academy. The question was, Robert, do you record guitar? Do you play guitar? And that was the question. The first one we did was, do you record drums? Second one was bass, and now it's guitar. This is just so we get to know each other. Everybody gets to know each other, get to know their skill set, what they work on, what kind of music. I'm not going to Music Mesa this year, but I am going to what's it called? Super Booth. I'll be at Super Booth. So if you're there, please come and say hi. Okay. Well, marvelous. This has been a wonderful live stream. Come back and join us again on Thursday. We'll do some guitar mixing and some vocal mixing, and we'll finish up the mix. And maybe we'll put some stuff on our master bus. Marvelous. Wonderful. You all rock. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing. Go back to the camera here. Thank you ever so much. Join us on Thursday. If you're not a member of the Academy, please join up. Get the Phil Allen mixing course. It's really amazing. Speak to you all again. And it's mixing and producing. It's a full band production, everything off. There's a whole bunch of bundles that he does. He also teaches compression, EQ, reverbs and delays, everything. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing. See you all again very, very soon.